Daar zijn we weer.
Ja, daar zijn we weer. We gaan over naar het Engels, want Sam spreekt Engels. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We know each other through mutual friends. We have this little friend group. You can enlighten us about that more later if you want to. But thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, yeah, and also welcome everybody here about this topic about identity. So, yeah, what brings you here? Why did you think, oh, this is a good thing to do?
Yeah. When Sanne posted her video on Instagram, I saw it and immediately it rang a bell. I'm like, okay, I think this is something that I really would like to do because I never really told my story from that point of view. And identity is something that's always been with me, consciously and unconsciously throughout my story and my life. And so I thought this would be a good chance for me to expand on it and discuss it.
Yes, thank you so much for doing that. We're very curious. So tell us more.
Okay, so my name is Samantha. Everybody calls me Sam. I'm originally from Italy. My parents are from the Philippines. They migrated to Italy in the late 70s. They met in Italy, and that's where I was born. I was born in Rome. I lived in Rome for 6 years, and then together with my mom, we moved further north to a town called Bologna, where I lived for about 20 years. And I've been living in Amsterdam since 2009, so it's been a long time since I've been here. Yeah.
And in your childhood, growing up, what was the first memory you have, or something that resonates for you when it comes to this topic?
My mother was typical Filipino. She was very religious, so I was raised religious in the Catholic Church. She would take me to church once a week, sometimes even twice a week. I went to Bible school. I had to do the First Communion and confirmation and whatnot. And so at home I had a really Filipino style upbringing. My mother taught me discipline. She taught me that the most important thing above everything is respect for your parents, respect for the elderly, structure, rules, do good in school, get a good education, get a good job, have a nice reputation, because God forbid nobody should talk about you. So yeah, this is how I was raised. And
because maybe also for the listeners, so in the Philippines it's already like a mixed group of people, right?
Yes, that is correct. Filipinos are also mixed. You'll find in most cases either Spanish Filipinos or Chinese Filipinos, or in my case a mix of both, because my mother originally she's Spanish Chinese. And you might have also other cultures. My father is part Portuguese, so it's
already so interesting.
It's a very interesting mix. Yes. And so my mom, she used to take me to all these Filipino events, social events, so to speak. And if you know Filipinos, we do everything once a week.
A lot of events.
A lot of events, like at least once a week. But because she tried too hard to instill in me the Filipino, I was very resistant when I was a kid, because she really pushed too hard. So I never learned the language. I don't speak Tagalog. So I remember that when she would take me to these large parties with a lot of food, a lot of kids, and a lot of people talking to me in Tagalog, and that I didn't know how to communicate with, I was just hiding under the table and just wanted to be alone.
Did you feel more Italian back then?
Yes, yes, very much, because everything else outside of my home was Italian. My education was in Italian. All my friends were Italian. My first language was Italian. So I was Italian through and through. And Filipino was a very abstract concept for me back then.
Did that change at some point for you? Was it?
Yeah, it did. It did when I turned 18 and I started handling my own paperwork. back then, because yeah, I wasn't born Italian. I was Filipino still on paper, at least. So I needed to arrange a lot of things for myself: my ID, my residence permit, eventually even my Italian citizenship. And it
Just to be clear, I'm not sure how that works in the Netherlands, because your parents were not Italian, they didn't have Italian passports, you had to arrange your own citizenship,
Yeah.
file for citizenship when you were 18.
That's correct.
Normal in Italy.
Yeah.
That must have already been very weird, I think, because you already felt Italian. So I can imagine it was like, hey, what is this?
Yeah.
It was really stressful, and it also was the moment where things kind of shifted a little
Yeah.
bit, because up until that moment I was just Italian.
Yeah.
I never felt any different. People did not make me feel different. But once I faced the bureaucracy and everything that's sort of behind the scenes, then you start seeing things from a different perspective. That's when my sense of belonging was no longer a feeling, but it became something that I needed to prove to the system, and the system didn't care that I was Italian in every form.
So wasn't it an easy process?
No.
Like,
Not at all, not at all. It took me about 8 years,
8 years.
To become Italian officially on paper, and a lot of blood, sweat and tears, and a lot of things that were missing, a lot of things that went wrong, so that's why it took long.
how do you remember, look back on this period, like how did you feel during that time? That one must have been hard, at least.
Yeah, because up until then I felt like I belonged there. That was just one of the Italians. My friends consider me Italian. I consider myself as an Italian. So it was just a piece of paper, right? But that piece of paper meant that the system did not see me the way I saw myself. It became like me being there became conditional in a way. So it translated into documents and stamps and categories, labels. You belong here, but only if you fit in this box.
Did that make you question your own identity?
Yes, that's when I started thinking, okay, maybe I'm not who I think I was, and for sure they don't see me the way that I saw myself. So indeed, that's when my sense of identity and belonging changed a little bit. Also, as I grew up, I started noticing little things when talking to people. So for example, I would meet somebody new, and then they would look at me and they were saying things like, your Italian is really, really good, where did you study? And then I would reply, well, I was born and raised here. It's my first language. So this is it. And they were like, oh, okay, but you're not really from here, because I can see from your face that you look different.
Your hair.
And your hair is too nice, and your eyes are a little bit slanted, and your skin is too dark, and And I know that it wasn't meant in a negative way. I know that those questions were merely out of curiosity. But it kind of, it still would sting.
It still makes you feel different.
It makes you feel different.
And it's interesting how that how it made you feel after the whole process of going through proving you're Italian, and before you didn't notice these things.
Exactly.
So it all comes together.
And after that, then you finally had your citizenship, and you were just living in Italy. How did you end up here, actually? What happened?
Well, the first time that I came to the Netherlands was when I was about 17, almost 18. I spent a week in Haarlem. I stayed in a Dutch family, and I went to school here for 1 week because my school had an alliance with that high school in Haarlem. And I remember this moment when on my first day of school here, I got off the bike. Yes, I used to bike, not anymore, not anymore. And the first thing I saw was these groups of kids like hanging out together, but I looked at them and they looked all different. They were all like, I saw kids that from Suriname, black kids, Asian kids, all together just being kids. And at age 17 or 18, that was the first time that I've seen those, because in my schools I was usually the only person of color.
Yeah.
Maybe there were a handful a bit later, but in my class I was the only one.
And the whole mix wasn't common, like people just.
No.
Oh.
No, it was
That's
not
so interesting.
common at all.
That's so different indeed here in the Netherlands.
I think so. I don't know what it was like before, but in my experience, that has always been
Been the
maybe
case, yeah.
the case in big cities. I don't know, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's common for me.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
that's
you, but it
interesting.
wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
So for you, it was like coming home,
it
or
was like, okay, so I'm not weird. So
yeah.
Oh, okay.
and later on, I studied in the Netherlands in 2005 for 1 semester, and that was my first longer international experience on my own. So it was the first time that I was away from home, and the first time in another country for a longer period of time. And I was just fully immersed in the Dutch life, and I at that moment in Haarlem kind of it came back. And after I finished studying in Utrecht, I graduated from college in Bologna, and then I decided to move here, just because I had that homey,
Inclusive feeling.
inclusive feeling that I never felt in Italy, you know. And it was a very, very easy decision to make, to be honest, because every time I was coming here, I felt like, okay, this is a place where I can feel at home.
Yeah.
You
Where
know?
you can be yourself.
Yes, and I not because I didn't love Italy. I still love it. I mean, I had a lot of opportunities. I had a great education. I had good friends, but it's just the love wasn't mutual in a way. So I don't go home that often anymore, simply because I don't feel that big of a connection anymore. But I'm still grateful of my life there, but it's just a chapter that I closed.
Yeah. So basically, like what you mentioned, it's like finding a place where you really belong.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
And it was then you stayed here after that, or how?
Yeah. So I decided to move to the Netherlands in June 2009. 5 days after I got my citizenship, by the way. So I was
Immediately.
So
Yes.
then you were like, I can stay, I am allowed to stay,
Yes.
see me as an Italian, but no.
And now I'm seeing.
No, 5 days, really, I swear. It was
5 days.
Yes, so I've been
You're
Italian.
really waiting for it.
Yeah, I was really, because I was preparing for this. I
Yeah,
even studied Dutch
okay.
in advance,
Oh,
because I
really?
knew I was gonna come here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I came
Yeah.
prepared, but literally 5 days later, I
You're
got
here.
my one-way ticket and I was out,
Yeah.
really.
And how does it feel today? Because that's then already for some years.
Yeah, well, you know, when I moved here, I knew maybe a couple of people, and I rebuilt everything from scratch. I needed to, of course, to find a job, a place to stay. So those came, and I decided to cut ties with almost everything that was Italian except for food. But I decided not to really have close Italian friends, just because I wanted to really find myself and immerse myself in the Dutch way. And I always, in a way, knew that I was meant to have international friends, or at least friends who were not the same that I had back home.
So like a global citizen.
Yes, and I picked Amsterdam because it's the biggest city and it's international. So it took me a little while, but then later I started meeting some friends who are currently my group of friends, and Sanne is one of them.
Yeah.
We are all Asians who were raised in the Western countries. We're all completely different. But the thing that I like the most about our group is the fact that we don't talk about our identity in this sense, because there's a quiet understanding of how we were raised, family dynamics, the values that we have. We make jokes about it, but we kind of like we're similar but different at the same time. But we make it work.
Yeah.
Because we're just very unique people, but somehow we are similar. We went through
Yeah.
the same things, and for me it was like having like mirrors around me that, you know, reminded me of
Of your roots also.
of my roots as
Yeah.
well, of who I am. It was also thanks to them that I rediscovered my own Asian roots that I was never really close to, but now I am.
Yeah.
And now I can say that I'm a blend of everything. So from the Filipino culture, I got the discipline, I got the structure. From the Italian culture, I got the openness and the being loud. And yes, I move my hands every now and then, not so much anymore.
Yeah.
And
Quite still.
yes,
Nothing happening.
And from the Dutch, the fact that I'm free, the freedom to exist in whatever
So
form.
beautiful, because basically you sort of went back, found your real identity, and feel entirely free.
Yes.
What would be your message for other people struggling with this? Because the thing that resonates for me is like, oh yeah, why am I in this friend group? I was just thinking, like, okay, for me it's also kind of rediscovering, and actually for me, I felt a bit hesitant to own my Asianness because I don't look Asian. I have a white mother, and my father's not fully Asian, but I'm like, yes, it's okay. I can exist in this group too.
Yeah.
And that gives me a lot of freedom to have fun with it, to incorporate that Asian kind of identity as well in myself. Because you don't, I mean, I'm Asian, no I'm not, but yes I am, and that just gives such freedom for me.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be your
message?
message? What would you want people to take away from your story?
If any of you is struggling in finding their own identity, what I would like to share is that it's not a linear process. It means zigzagging a little bit. It means detouring a little bit, and sometimes it may combust and it might, come back to life, but it will come. And it's remember that who you are is not defined by the place you live in or what you were given at birth, but it's a process, it's a journey, and it's your job to make it your own. So take whatever you want to take and make it your own.
I love that.
Love that very much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
being
having me.
here.
Thank you listeners.
And if you have a question for Sam or for us, let us know.
Let us
if
know.
there's someone else you would love us to speak to, whatever, let us know as well. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
being here and
Bye.
listening.